Hudson from Black Lives Matter. And, well, you're in a hurry, I know that, and so I'm glad you're here. Let's talk about this decision, because it was, as I understand, Pride made this decision at the instigation of Black Lives Matter, and you correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you are right.
So then, why would Black Lives Matter want to exclude a group from the Pride Parade? Because Pride is all about inclusion, about acceptance.
Exactly. And so when you go to the Pride Parade as a Black, queer, or trans person who has been persecuted by the Toronto police, treated unfairly, it doesn't feel inclusive for us. Like, that's someplace that
would you rather throw up a wall between them? If someone is feeling aggrieved by somebody, and I'm not accepting that, but let's just, I will for the purpose of this argument, if someone's feeling aggrieved, is it not better to have open dialogue than to say, you know what, I don't like you, you stay over there out of my...
Steve, that's been an attempt for years.
Right.
And nothing's been improving. And so
the cops weren't in there before, but now they are.
Oh, but look, there's 13 different police forces. They turn on their sirens, and they've got like their buses and cars, squad cars.
Right.
And that's a larger contingent than any other group at Pride. And so when our groups are being
So your complaint is that they're being overpowered.
Not just that, but when our people are being killed by police.
Right.
And they're not making any steps to change that. They're not making any steps to change the relationship with Black
I don't want to get into the whole issue of Black Lives Matter, because you know what?
That's the whole issue, though. That is the whole issue.
Black lives are being killed by far more than police.
You have to do more. You have to take a stand and say, look, you are accountable to us, and if you're not going to do anything about this, we can't endorse you. That's what this is about.
But endorsement doesn't mean, I mean, to have them in the parade doesn't mean you're endorsing them.
Absolutely,
to have them in the parade means that, you know what, we are here discussing it. We are an inclusive group, and everybody is welcome. Behave, go by the rules, and you're welcome.
Absolutely, it does mean an endorsement. And let's think about the way that police have been treating Black, queer, and trans people in this community, but not just Black folks outside of that. We've had this issue that's been happening at the park in Etobicoke, right?
Yeah.
Where the police have persecuted a particular queer community.
Nothing to do with Blacks necessarily.
Well, does it?
Necessarily?
Yeah, but anything that's going to assist Black people, I guarantee you, will assist everybody else in community. It's not just about us. So Black, queer, and trans people tend to be more persecuted than other groups.
Sandy, let's take that statement to assist people. To throw up a wall to exclude somebody is not assisting them.
This isn't a wall. It's a call for them to do something about the way that Black people are being treated by police in this city.
Now, what about the community that runs Pride? If there was not police, first of all, in the parade, or not police presence there, the police will be there as a presence because that's their job to protect, because if they weren't there and someone came in, they started, misbehaving, the first people that would be called would be the police. That's their job. Protect everybody in the parade.
Yeah, but we're not talking about safety. We're talking about...
You will be talking about safety if there's a threat.
No, but we're not talking about police not having a presence in the city when there's a parade. We're saying not being a contingent in the parade.
So if it was a smaller contingent, Sandy...
You're mincing issues.
If there was a smaller contingent, you mentioned that there was 13 floats or something to that effect. If there was a smaller contingent, would that be better?
No, because look, the police have done nothing to address what's happened to Andrew Loku, what's happened in this city with respect to carting.
So is it payback time?
It's not payback. This is people standing up and saying, Toronto police, we're not going to accept you until these issues are dealt with. There's this particular segment of our society, Black people, who are being treated unfairly without dignity by the police. And that deserves an urgent response.
Do you not think the chief of police is dealing with that? Your concern?
No, not at all. What evidence is there to suggest that he is dealing with any of those concerns that I have just raised?
Well, because he is a Black man. He is a civilized man. He takes his duty.
Something doesn't mean that he's doing something.
He takes his responsibilities very, very seriously.
I don't know what evidence there is to suggest that he has been doing.
Okay, then you know what? We should probably set up another meeting then, because or have someone set up, because from my understanding, he is making tremendous strides.
Give me an example.
Gains.
Give me an example.
the fact that he is out there with policing and talking about it. What do you want specifically with two of those cases you just referred to? He can't go back. He is not, you know, the Chief Justice. He is not sitting there as emperor saying, I can do this and that.
This isn't just two cases. And come on, you know that. These are issues that have been happening in our city for decades, that people have been talking about for decades. You know, there are groups that came before us who've been talking about these issues and they haven't been fixed.
How would you like them fixed? How would you, Sandy Hudson, like them fixed?
There's all sorts of things that we've recommended. So, for example, no more carding at all. Getting rid of the carding data. There should be, the SIU needs to be completely reformed or redone.
I thought carding was dealt with.
It wasn't. You know, it's so frustrating, you know, like these politicians. I know how you feel about them. I feel the same way. When sometimes they announce things that
they don't do it.
But it's not just that they're not doing it. It's like a weird, shady way of trying to get around the issue so it sounds like a good announcement.
You make them sound malevolent. They may.
I think it is malevolent because if you keep doing it,
they may not be responsive enough as fast as you want.
It's not enough. It's at all. They've said we've banned carding, but what did that actually mean for them? They put out a regulation which was a step-by-step guide of how police can continue to card people without getting in trouble. That's not banning carding. That is continuing carding.
That is questioning, and police job is to question in certain circumstances. As long as they're not being racist about it, if there's something going on at 3 in the morning, you want them, as a citizen, you want some shady person at 3 o'clock in the morning to be questioned.
And do you know what that means in the regulations? They say you can't stop on the basis of race alone, but you can on the basis of race and eye color, on the basis of race and hair color. Now you tell me if that's going to solve the issue. That is said
in the regulation. You can stop on the basis of eye color.
I can on the basis of race
or hair
and
color. Race and hair color or eye color.
It can't be race alone. It must be race and one of these other things. And eye color and hair color are examples.
Sandy Hudson, you know what?
In the regulation, you gotta read it.
I haven't seen that. I'm going to get that.
I'll send it to you.
Well, no, I'm going to get it. And next week, you and I'll have a discussion on that.
Let's do it.
And not that I don't believe you. You are a smart woman. You're well formed. I'm stunned. If they say you can stop someone on the only basis you can stop them is on race and hair color.
I didn't say only basis. It's one of the accepted bases, is that you can't just stop them on race alone, but you can't stop them based on race and another characteristic. And the example that they give is eye color or hair color. I'll show it to you.
Okay, Sandy Hudson, we are out of time, but thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Always wonderful discussions with you. You're an articulate, smart woman.
Thank you.
I disagree with you sometimes, but you know what?
You know what? I like what you said at the beginning, because I think it's cute that they're trying to pass it off as their decision, when the Pride AGM already made that decision. It's already done.
Well, they have done, but they did it at the instigation of Black Lives Matter, I understand.
Oh, yeah, but there were hundreds of people in that room.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's from the name of that community. I've spoken to some people in that community, and they say, well, they don't agree with it. But I can't imagine.
Hundreds of people in that room. It was like a 95% vote. It was so good.
See, they must be cowed by you. I'm not cowed by you.
Cowed? I was sitting in the corner playing with some kids.
Sandy Hudson, okay.